Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Unscripted with Amy Kruzic, and
David Ellis.
we have a special guest.
Hello, my name is Natalie Zacharias.
Yes, welcome, Natalie. I'm so excited to have you on as a guest. I'm going to read a little bit about you, so everybody can get a little what to know about you. So let me I had to write it down. Natalie is a devoted healer and priestess of transformation for more than 20 years of experience in the healing arts. She holds, I was going to say beholds. She
beholds.
Behold, Natalie.
I know. That's so funny. Stop. Okay. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's in integral counseling psychology from the California Institute of Integral Studies. Her path has been deeply shaped by a rich tapestry of teachings and spiritual lineages, both within academia and beyond. Mm-hmm. Since 2016, Natalie has been learning from and weaving with Liv Wheeler and the Contemplate. She has also served the community as a member of the Earth's Amulet team and has been a steady presence on countless spiritual journeys across the globe, including, Mongolia, Panama, Japan, Australia, Hawaii, and throughout the United States. She has guided and held space for numerous retreats, as well as many virtual ceremonies and rituals that welcome people from all walks of life. Alongside Liv, Natalie co-facilitates Daughters of the Milky Way Priestess Training that's happening in November, an online sacred journey of rebirth held in community. She is also a certified Reiki Master and Emotion Code practitioner, offering both private one-on-one sessions and group experiences via Zoom. You can learn more and visit Natalie's website at www.tendingyourspirit.com or www.heal.me/tendingyourspirit. Welcome, Natalie. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I believe in the power of transformation that we all have as an inherent inheritance that we are able to claim. And so I love working with people who are ready to make the transformation, not only for themselves and their lives, but for their ancestors and future generations and for the collective. And I love working with people.
Okay. I gotta ask. You have a unique approach to transformation and helping people develop. There is a kind of there is a spiritual, yes, but it's a specific kind of flavor that you bring to it. So what is Natalie's flavor?
That's such a good question. What is my flavor? The jokester part of me wants to say spicy. My flavor is spicy. That's the jokester version of Natalie.
Yes, I love it.
So have to presence that. What took me on the path of where I am now is that I was working in the corporate world for 6 years. I was actually working at a pharmaceutical company. That was divinely when I was graduated undergrad and
we're going to get into that, right?
No, I'm not going to go into that. It was just spirit was you need to go here, and I was okay, I'll go here. And then I felt this, as I'm in this corporate world, looking around, I'm oh, this is not forever. This is not where Natalie's meant to be forever. There was great people. I mean, the people were awesome, and I grew a lot in that experience. But I was oh no, I need to find the path, and I felt it. It was a very visceral feeling in my body of oh, the waters are changing, the tides are changing. I need to find out where the direction's going. And at the time when I graduated undergrad, psychology, the way I understood it was someone laying on a couch and some old white man writing notes and interpreting their life and telling them about themselves. And that just didn't sit well with me. That's just it's just something I couldn't name it. It just didn't feel right. But that's in the media, how it was depicted.
You don't believe in the Oedipus complex then, Natalie?
No.
You don't believe in the electro complex? You don't subscribe to that?
No, and like, I'm not an old white man, so like definitely wouldn't work for me.
That's right.
And it's just like, it was this interesting experience that I kept having. I was working with attorneys, and so I'd go in an office to talk about, I don't know, some project, and then an hour later I realized I just did a therapy session for them. And this is before I went to go to schooling. And then I realized, I'm like, okay, this is like a natural thing of being in with the presence with somebody, and realizing like, oh, there's blocks that they're experiencing, but they're seeing themselves as a victim of whatever circumstances was happening. It was usually around conflict. And so, but I also, as a young child, like I would say I must have been around 12 years old when I started to get introduced into like energy healing and spirituality outside of religion. Mind you, I was also in Catholic school at the time too, so hold those two things at the same time. I was in Catholic school and also being introduced by one of my religion teachers to Reiki, and then like energy healing and all that stuff. So it was just like both of those things were existing at the same time. And so I remember having this experience. I was like, there has to be a way that spirituality and psychology integrate or like work together instead of being these opposing forces. And a friend of my family, she was like, yes, like that exists. That's holistic psychology or transpersonal psychology. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought I was like inventing some like novel concept. Meanwhile, it's been around for like a hot minute. So I was like, okay, I just need to find the places where that is taught, because that at least will be in the right direction. And so then I, went to the Bay Area. That's where CIS is, at school. And I thought I was just going to go for my master's degree and be in graduate school. Unbeknownst to me, it felt like I was like picked up from the East Coast. So I was like picked up from the East Coast and planted into several different communities that were connected with spirituality, plant medicines, which I had no concept of any of those things, even though they are in my ancestry. But I just had no knowing of any of this. And so, was introduced to plant medicines, was introduced to indigenous elders, plant medicines that are not psychedelic, like all these different things that go, a whole worlds opened up for me. And it was like I would be going to school, and then I'd go sit in ceremony in the weekend, and somehow what I was learning in school, like for example, when I was in my Gestalt therapy course, and we were learning about parts work, I would be, very like entrenched into my schooling, but I'd go sit in a ceremony with grandmother ayahuasca and then have a very clear visceral experience of parts work. Like I remember seeing like do you remember those old school roller index things?
Yeah.
The parts of Natalie in a roller index. And being like, oh, this is what parts work mean. Like, this is all me. This is Natalie when she's pissed. Oh, this is Natalie when she's in her child wound. This is Natalie. Oh, that's all me. I'm not just the nice girl, which was what I was always reflected back as growing up. Oh, you're so nice. You're so nice. I'm not just this like stagnant box of a thing. I'm all of these things. And so to answer your question about the flavor, I would say the depth of the work that I've done on my own being, on the multidimensional layers, is the way that I hold space for others. So like if you want to go just to like the psychological step and just be there and like the processes and like looking that, yeah, I can meet you there. If you want to go deeper into looking at the spiritual aspects, the ancestral stuff, like the energy, yeah, I'll go there too. And if you want to even go deeper, we can go into the underworld.
Yeah.
We can go into the underworld and be in that space with all of the fears that come up and all the subconscious stories that come up and all those things. And I'm in there with you.
Yeah. And Natalie, I'd like to add, I've known you since 2020, and I've been in ceremony, and we've been together in person in ceremony, and that you're all of that. You have so many levels to you.
The onion.
The onion. You're the is that a flavor? Is that a flavor?
That would be
Those, and
flavor.
onions when they're raw, they're spicy.
They're spicy. But yeah, you have this way about you that you know exactly where to go with somebody, and be able and help them see. Look at it this way. Look at it this way. Because I've been there with you, and yeah, you're good, and you do have a. I like your tending your spirit because you do have a tender spirit. You do, with a bright smile like sunshine.
Yeah, I feel like this smile that God gave me, like
Yeah.
this has helped people feel like, oh, we're going in the underworld. Oh, we're
Yeah.
already in the underworld.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
we're in there, and there is some scary stuff around here. And oh, but look, she's still smiling. Okay, we can keep going.
Yes, that is it. That I like that. I like that.
What is a typical session with Natalie like?
Oh goodness. I don't think there's anything typical about any of my sessions, to be honest. That's a hard question because everyone's so different. I mean, listen, we can do like if we're doing an emotion code session, like I can break it down like what that looks like. But those are shorter sessions or like 30 minutes. We connect about like what it is that you're like energetically wanting to clear, like what blocks. So what's is it a physical thing? Are you having a wound coming up? Like what is it that we're meeting for to clear? Because emotion code is a system that's set up to clear trapped emotions, which are trapped energy that's in the body. But it's not just the physical body; it's like the different bodies that we have. And connecting to the earth, calling in the guides and the guardians. Just setting the space. That's how that session looks like. And then as you're, let's say David, if we're doing an emotion code session, I would invite you to continue to be in this meditative state that I've like guided us into, and always ask for permission. Like I always ask before even doing the meditative, like the guidance, do I have permission to connect energetically? Then once we do that, then I start clearing. And then in the way emotion code works, there's like a series of yes or no questions that I ask that your subconscious tells me through, it's either muscle testing or I use a pendulum because that's just how I know how to read energy. And so I get yes or no questions, and then we clear the energy. And it's about working with the subconscious. Like I'm connecting with your subconscious, and we are in agreement that what is coming up to the surface to be cleared is clearing that energy out. So your subconscious, basically what you're doing is telling your subconscious, clear this energy, this emotion, this like remnants of an experience from my being. And sometimes that feels like, sometimes for people, like good image that comes to mind whenever I do this is like, imagine you're a body of water and there's bubbles at the bottom. And those questions, the yes or no questions that I'm asking to your subconscious is basically removing like the kelp and the seaweed and I don't know, any kind of debris that are in the way, preventing those bubbles from coming up to the surface. And so for some folks, when they're in that meditative state, they may have physical like sensations that some people feel, oh, I feel something moving in my body, or memories come up. I know myself, when I've received emotion code, I felt the first time I received, I had like, I couldn't move my body. Like my back was like, just out of nowhere. It was very weird. And I remember I was laying on my belly, and the woman who was clearing, she was using a magnet to clear and asking the questions to clear, and she was going down my spine. And I felt those like, Etch and Sketch, the toy, like the magnetic filaments. In my mind's eye, I was seeing these magnetic filaments like leaving my body. And it was it was like clearing that out. And I was in a space of like, I believe that could work. Like you do have to believe you're capable of healing. If you're telling your subconscious, I'm not capable of healing, I'm not able to release this, then guess what? You're not going to release it. You could be working with, the best healer in the world. Like God or goddess could be clearing your energy. And if you're saying, no, I'm not capable of healing, then guess what? It's not going to work out for you. And so, as it was, as I was feeling the filaments, I was like, oh, and then I was able to move my body again. I was like, oh, okay, this works. Like, this is interesting. And I've had, memories from, I don't know, I was clearing grief and had a memory from like childhood come up for me while I was in the role of receiving. So that's just some things that can come up in an emotion code session. And you're clearing things from your lifetime, but you're clearing ancestral stuff, you're clearing past life stuff. You're clearing stuff that, like, you were a child and your parents were fighting in a room, and because you didn't have very clear energetic boundaries, you picked up that anger. It's very fascinating. It shows up like you were in your mother's womb and she was having depression and you picked that up from her. Like, it's the amount of things that come. I think the most fascinating thing that came up actually in a session was the trapped emotion of confusion. And it was when the soul was coming into the body and into utero. And that was like had like an experience of confusion. And I was like, yeah, that can be confusing.
I have a question.
It can be confusing. Yes, please.
Okay, so I'm going to throw you a curveball.
I love curveballs.
Okay. What do you think defines you specifically as a practitioner? I said it was a curve.
What defines me? I know, I'm thinking about that. You mean like what other people experience of me, or what I see of me?
No, I'm actually.
Whose perspective are we talking about?
I'm talking about your internal perspective, because here's the thing. There would be people who do emotional code practitioner. They're emotional code practitioners. There are people who do priestess training and so on. But I do sense that you have a particular approach which is a little bit different, and it just might be me, right? So I'm asking you, what defines you as a practitioner?
I don't do things by the rules.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Like you can be, I don't mean this in a bad way, but you can be basic. Like there is like this is how it goes and this is how it ends. Mm-hmm. Like a formula that you can stick to. And for my being, following any formula that's like constructed for like just follow this way.
Because that people are dynamic.
Yeah, like that just is boring. Like I like to be in the energy, like feeling what's here. I don't feel I don't have like a fear of like, but what if this happens or what if that happens? I'm more curious of like, what if this happens? What if that happens?
You see, this brings up a very interesting discussion. So when I train counselors, I try to train them to utilize intuition a lot of the times. And there are two different kinds of counselors. The technical kind that requires templating, what we call templating. Okay? And so you fit a
familiar with them?
The old guy in the couch.
They're the classics. I know what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because you hate your father. And that's all there is to it. And there are people who will actually utilize their intuition. And this has been an old debate in counseling. So the traditionalists or the purists will say, we have tried and true and tested methods of achieving a certain amount of results. And that's the scientific method, the evidentiary method. And then there are other practitioners that say, people are not a collection of motivations and drives and motivations, because as the world changes, so do the drives and motivation change. So unless you're updating your DSM-5 manual every couple of months,
every day,
every day, trends happen on social media. It changes the public perception. Like what happened, and I keep referencing like what happened to the CEO that went to the Coldplay concert. That has changed social discourse. It has slightly. Can you imagine the amount of CEOs who were in the same position that are like, okay, Coldplay is crossed off my list, right? And so, crossed off my list. Like, we're not going there, right? So I'm just thinking, unless you're updating, there's a certain dynamism that comes with people where you can't just fit them into nice, neat little boxes, where it becomes actually a little bit destructive to them and sabotaging to the whole process of healing, the whole process of getting to any kind of resolution when you try to apply a template to an individual. And the thing about it, it ignores that the spiritual side you can't template. I never saw anybody with a template astral body in my life. This is what you're coming with. This is the set. This is the set. This is your set of chakras, and this is how it is, and that's how it works. Okay. So I just think that it's nice that you're actually embracing the chaos, so to speak. You're embracing the chaos that is and dealing with the chaos, because the thing about it is that it's in the chaos we understand what the messiness is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will not go there, which requires a lot of work. So how's that working for you, Natalie?
That's a great question, David. I have so many things that I want to share based off of what you said. First off, just like as a funny note, when I was getting my master's, I did have the DSM-5, that big, lovely big book that
of disorder,
lovely thing.
everything.
And I remember, I remember. Oh my God, this is so funny. Hopefully, a lot of people laugh about this, but I was, in San Francisco, living in a house. I had housemates, and my sister came to visit, and she also started. She's older than me, and she started to get to go for her master's as well. And she went to go visit me, and she came into my room, and she looked at the door, and she's like, "Do you have the DSM-5 as your doorstop?" And I just got like, I didn't. That was just
oh God.
Oh my God! I just drank some water. Right?
It's so indicative to my feelings to that book. That I was like, it worked perfectly. I was in an old Victorian house in the heat, and the doors, it was really heavy. I needed something to hold it.
I was using it as a bookend to prop up the books in between. You want to know what the books in between were? Mad comics in between, because they're kind of like floppy. So I needed bookends.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, I just want to start that off with that, and then to go into your other question. How is that working for me? Well, let me tell you this, that like I'm very much guided by spirit, like all of my life, like even younger than 12, or just like very, I knew yes and no from like my guides, my guardians. Like I knew always what yes and no was. And so then there was not to say that there was a time where I ignored it. I am human after all.
Right.
I certainly ignored it for a long period of time, but I always knew what yes and no was. And so when I finished my, got my degree, I was going towards licensure and like that whole path of like getting your hours and internship and all that stuff. We went to Mongolia, and before Mongolia, I was already starting to feel like something was happening in my life, but I wasn't quite sure what that was. It just felt like there was like discordance, which is that's how I can like just things weren't like
meshing.
Right. Yeah. And so in ceremony with the candomblé at this big tree where we're processing so many things, and there were so many energies and entities and demons and all these things that were being unveiled and shown, that these things around the world were happening. I remember them telling me, like, basically, in like to summarize, of like what the path that I'm going is not the path I'm supposed to be, that I need to like switch up gears. Like it's time to switch gears. And I knew like that they didn't even, it was like coded, the message. And I knew exactly what they were saying. Like the path of going towards licensure was not the path that my soul was meant to go. And I actually needed to forge my own path. So, I've like invested a lot of time, a lot of money in getting this degree to go towards, you get licensed and then you get like either this and that, you know what I mean? I was going towards that path, but it was just a very like, nope, pivot. That's not the path that you're going to. So I was like, all right, well, I have these gifts. I know how to do this. So now I'm just going to go in the realm of coaching. And so I do transformational coaching sessions. But I don't, I mean, it's hard. It would be lovely to go through that path of like licensure. And then I have so many people, oh, do you take insurance? I'm like, no, because I'm not a licensed therapist. I don't, and I'm not on the insurance boards. So I don't take insurance. It would be so simple to just go through that path. Yeah. Like it would, but very clearly, my guides were like, nope, that's not the path that you're going on. You have to forge a different path. And I said, okay, there's going to be a little bit more challenges, but for me, it's like at the end of this life, I don't want to feel like I made compromises to do things the easy way. Because then I'm also severing parts of my being in order to fit a mold for somebody else. And like that, I didn't come here to play small. Like I didn't come here to be like a good little person who does their thing and doesn't make waves and like just keep going the path. Like that feels like death to my soul, even just saying that to you. It's like, I know that sounds dramatic, but I'm like, oh, but like, yeah. Then like I feel it in my solar plexus. Like, oh, that just feels like, no, that's not. You don't I remember watching that movie Bucket List. I forget who the actors are, but I remember like, oh, the idea of having a bucket list felt like really impactful. And like the number one thing on there for my, like when I kick the bucket is I want to change 1 million lives. And you don't change 1 million lives by taking like the easy route. I'm like
I'm going to drop a nuclear explosion here.
Yes, do it.
You don't change lives by taking the easy route. No. Yes. Yeah. So finally, the light has shone. It's the same in every aspect of the healthcare system. Okay. So even in allopathic medicine, doctors will treat you based on symptoms that you dictate to them. They have no interest in taking any additional training apart from the 8 years that they've spent being a doctor. And so if anybody needs to do anything else, they're going to refer that person. Here's the problem with the referring people around and passing people around to practitioners. If you don't know what these practitioners do, then you can't pass them to anybody. Right, so somebody comes in and says, well, gee, doctor, I have a digestive issue. Oh, that's okay. We're going to give you a pill for that, right? Nexium, why not? Okay. And then he says, no, but I feel really depressed about it. Oh, that's okay. Go to the psychiatrist down the hall from us, and we're going to give you another pill for that. Okay, you depressed? All right, some Prozac for you. Okay. You go to the Prozac doctor. Okay, I'm having a problem with your Prozac. I don't know. It's making my stomach feel weird. Oh, that's okay. Gastroenterologist for you. Go down the other. Just go down and turn left. There's another office there, right? We get you another pill to calm that down. And you see, there's a point in time where it becomes a question of how far will you go to actually do service? Is it just something that you just wake up, you do the 9 to 5 and you get back home? Yeah. A lot of people are in that. A lot of people are in that. And it's interesting to me that you did some work with pharmacy. My MBA is in health, in the management. My MBA is in the management of health systems, right? Yeah. And so, when you do a particular kinds of MBA, whether it be health policy or whether it be the management of health systems, you're going to be dealing a lot with pharmacy. And let me tell you, look, I can imagine why you have chosen what you've chosen. That is a big stance you've taken, not going the licensure route.
Yeah.
just so that you could be accepted. And like, I have to commend you for that, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been hard, don't get me wrong. And also, I'm just, to be clear, I'm not saying that people who do go the relationship route, that's, like, I have any judgment about that, because I don't.
Right.
I have really good friends who are very talented therapists. I mean, my supervisor continues to be this amazing Gestalt focused therapist who's helped countless people, myself included. But that just was not my path. Like, it was very clear. It was just I just knew that's not the direction I'm meant to go.
So Natalie,
and
go ahead. So what would you tell so you've been doing this for 20 years, right? What would you tell the younger part of you that started this journey now, with what you know now? What would you say to her?
To not lose faith when things get really dark, because things got really dark.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, just to be clear, like, I went through a period of my time that I call, like, the dark ages. And, like, I know I use words and they kind of sound dramatic, but not for nothing. Like, that was hard. Like, I have very fierce guides and guardians, because there was moments there that, like, I may have been like, peace out, I'm out of here. Like, and I'm laughing. Like, I'm saying that with a smile on my face now, because I've done a lot of healing around all the darkness that was there. But, like, I think there's, first off, like, we live in the Western world, we live in a society that there's no rites of passage.
Yes.
Right? So, like, this era that I'm talking about was, like, teenage, like, years, probably 13, 14 till about, like 25, like a good 10 years of my life. And I did have energy healers and spiritual people who just show up, like, unbeknownst, like, just kind of, like, out of nowhere. And I'm pretty sure it's spirit be like, we need to make sure this one, like, stays here. And had all these, like, support systems that would show up, but at the same time, I mean, I didn't love myself. There were so many different things. Like, I was at that point programmed into that, like, this, you go to school, you do this, you do this. Like, it was just, I was entrenched in the matrix, like, completely lost. And I think, if I were to speak to the younger one, I mean, as a child, I was just so free and wild, and I saw spirits, and I saw, like, I had experience of, like, seeing the wee folk, and I remember walking on the boardwalk with my father and just, like, very boldly and clearly telling him that I was a tiger in a past life, and him just looking at me like, okay,
like, who are you?
I just knew, like, I knew things as a child. But then I was reflected back by the adults in my life, like, oh, that's just your imagination.
Yeah.
That's just, like, I was a bright flame, and slowly just got, like, tempered down. Like, the part of me that existed in those dark ages, I would just tell her, like, don't forget who you were when you first came here.
Yep.
Because as a child, I was unapologetic. As a child, I was connected with spirit, and, like, you could leave me outside for hours and I would be happy. Like, I did not play by the rules. I climbed trees, played in the mud, would read books, like, would go on adventures. I was not glued to the TV, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, I was a wild child. And so then in those years where it was, like, in that dark era, that lost era, that didn't know who I was, I remember just feeling like, who am I? Like, especially being, like, I'm a child of immigrants who come from completely different countries. My mom's from Colombia, my father's from India. Their cultures are completely different.
Yeah.
There's so much, who am I? Like, what? Like, I just always had the question of, like, who am I? Where are my people?
You are a mixture of two different original peoples.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this how the ancestors, so do you work with those ancestors? Did you bridge that?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I, part of the reason why I went back to get my master's too, besides the fact that, like, it felt very clear this is, you know, different ways needed. I would see, like, it was clear for me to see patterns of intergenerational trauma, how it was showing up in the living descendants now. And I was curious of like, what was that trauma that occurred that caused all this like destruction, for lack of a better word, in the descendants. And I felt very clearly like I am not going to continue to perpetuate these patterns going forward. Like I had a series of experiences and relationships that I realized I'm like, oh, I'm the common denominator here. Not only am I the common denominator, this is actually a pattern that I'm noticing in other relatives that I don't even have like day-to-day contact with. And like, that's curious. That's a thing that happens. And I'm like, oh, this is what epigenetics, when they talk about epigenetics.
Yep.
Oh, this is what they're talking about. Like, this is not actually what they were talking about, but on another level, this is what they're talking about.
Yep.
More like metagenetics.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, all right. So if these things happen because of a rupture that happened somewhere in our ancestral lineage, then that means that it also can stop and change. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to be the one to change that for the future.
I gotta come in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, a little bit of a history and anthropology buff, so I'm gonna just dive in to the genetic components of everything that is Natalie. Your ancestry is Indian and original Colombian.
So Indian, South Kerala, to give better context.
Kerala, I know where exactly. So you're South Indian, and you are original peoples. I can see the original traits that are going on there. So
this is what is Colombian right here.
It's okay.
My forehead is
the forehead. Yes, the forehead. It's okay. I'm part Carib.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, let's try. Let's dive into that. So one side of your ancestry looks at healing from the point of view of, well, for want of a better word, more of a earth spirit point of view. But the other side, and there is an institute in Kerala, an Ayurvedic institute, very popular Ayurvedic institute. When you marry these two in your approach to, I don't know, healing, okay, for yourself, for your general health, and for the healing of your clients, how's that working for you? How does that blend in your mind, right? Because there's a ritualistic aspect, but there's also the influence of the Vedas coming through there. Now, I am a firm believer that whether or not you read the entire Upanishads, okay, or you read, or you go and you spend time with healers in the jungle or whatever, your ancestry is embedded in your genetic code. Whether you like it, it's just a matter of when or at what point in time in your life you turn it on. So the confusion must be very real in you.
and so let me add another layer there for you, David. That my father's family was colonized by St. Thomas. So the Catholic, what's that word? When they went and, what is that called? When the people went and
pilgrimage,
crusades, pilgrimage.
Oh my God, it's like right there.
Just describe it to me.
Word of God. When they share the word of God, and
the evangelical duty.
Yeah, when St. Thomas went to Goa, which is an island right off of near Kerala, he went to Goa and then he went into Kerala. He converted. Whatever. There's a word that's like right there. It's okay. But he converted a lot of the Indians in that area to Catholicism. I come from my Indian heritage. I come from a line of priests, nuns, bishops, and all of the layers, all the different layers of. I know there's more. I just can't think of it.
We're talking about St. Thomas Aquinas, right?
Yes, St.
Oh,
Thomas Aquinas.
yes. Okay, I was
Okay.
thinking that.
Homeboy St. Thomas. My father is named Thomas, by the way. The homeboy St. Thomas infiltrated my family lineage, which is like, I didn't know this until actually when I was in grad school and I was doing family dynamics. We had to do a family tree. And my father happened to be visiting India at the time. And my mother, because they're not together anymore, but my mother just happened to be visiting Colombia. So they both were in their motherlands in the same semester that I'm taking family dynamics. It's like, couldn't have scripted that better.
I would love
And
to.
I had them get stories. Like, please find stories. Like, ask stories. And I found this ancestral book online that someone in my family created for that family line. Come to find out, my actual last name isn't Zacharias. The reason why it's Zacharias is because my grandparents married for love. And so my grandfather was not allowed to hold his familial last name, which I can't pronounce the family last name, so don't ask me to.
Spell that.
Like, it's huge. I couldn't even spell it. But his first name was Zachariah, and so that became the last name for the family. That's why my last name is Zacharias, and Zacharias from the prophet Zechariah. But this family lineage, this branch that belongs to a bigger tree, is apparently like the Kennedys of Kerala, which I had no knowing of this until I was in my 30s. And I'm like, wait, what? They were like I guess you would say like the Brahmins, if we're looking at caste system of that region. And I didn't grow up with any of that gnosis. Like, I didn't know nothing. Like, did not grow up at all knowing anything about my Indian heritage because of the trauma of the, colonization, like all the different things, the self-hatred, all those things. My father never liked being Indian because when he came here in the 70s, there was so much racism that he experienced that, like, if he could have turned his skin white, he would have.
Yeah. Wow.
And to this day, still does not, like, sorry, Dad, putting out blast, but to this day, does not have a love for where he came from. And so I can't answer that question on a conscious level of all those things because that was I learned about my Indian heritage from this amazing, beautiful Thai woman in San Francisco who introduced me to the goddesses and introduced me to
Amy, I think your pen clicking is coming through.
I'm not pen clicking.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. This beautiful Thai woman introduced me to my to Mother Durga and to Shiva and to Kali Ma and all these different, not from my family. My family was Catholic, and so yeah, add that layer to your question of
all right.
So how am I doing? Yeah,
Wait, but
I'm trying to clear out all the wounding of colonization because on my mother's side, the Colombian side, also colonized by the conquistadors that also brought Catholicism in, and so Colombia is a Roman Catholic country.
It is,
and so they have Catholicism. That, if anything, like if anyone asks me how did they even get married, they both came from a Roman Catholic culture. So that at least that was like a, all the guilt and all those other things. Like
there are levels of irony here which cannot be overlooked.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find the levels of irony.
Oh, there's plenty.
There's plenty.
The first ironic thing that I see in your story is St. Thomas Aquinas is usually associated with healing the masses.
Yeah.
Those heathens in India So he came across and infected the Indian continent. But the problem is that the Catholic Church is usually associated with what I call theological trauma,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And so, that's an irony in and of itself. Now you're dealing in a place, Kerala, for those of us who don't know the Indian um, diaspora, you have North and South Indians. Okay,
Completely different.
South Indians, the dark hair and so on. I've seen somebody from Kerala with blonde hair only once in my life, and that was dyed. Yeah,
Okay. That makes more sense.
very, very funny. It was very funny, right? And the thing
They're
about
dark.
Kerala, if I remember correctly, it is associated with a kind of healing which is very unique to India. Ayurveda has found a home in Kerala. There's a huge institute there. So that's a kind of healing, but then it got colonized.
Mhm.
And so for some reason, somebody who came from that background finds somebody in Colombia where they practice a different kind of healing. Some of the best cacao in the world for medicine comes from Colombia. I know I'm
Yep.
having a cacao ceremony. I'm using Peruvian cacao, but I've taken Colombian cacao.
I love Colombian cacao.
Ayahuasca also grows in Colombia.
Yep.
They practice a kind of healing that happens there,
Mhm.
right? Their healing is based on a more spiritual, earth spirit background, and in
And I would say
India,
cosmic as well.
cosmic, correct?
Yeah.
Right. It's more of a it's expansive worldview and so on, and Ayurveda is a sort of holistic construct, but they got colonized as well, and they've had to adapt their rituals specific for the Catholic Church. So I'm just saying that apparently these two individuals met and they had Natalie,
Yes. Yay.
which is the birth of ancestral trauma with all the tools to heal itself.
Yes.
Excellent.
I believe that's why you're here,
All the cool
Natalie.
tools.
Oh yeah.
That's why you're
It's
here.
fascinating because when I chose that path of like, oh no, I'm gonna like when I saw the patterns
Yeah.
and I realized like, oh no more.
Mhm.
And I took that leap. Like I was the first one. I was like, it'd be really nice if other people in my family would do this too.
Yes. It's all on me.
All this is on me. But then my cousin decided to also go and get his master's in a focus on drug and alcohol therapy.
Mhm.
And then my sister, she went to go get her master's. I was like, okay, I'm
Wow.
not alone here. Like this feels more manageable. I will focus on the spiritual stuff. You focus on the drug and alcohol stuff, and you focus on the children. Like, let's do this.
Excellent.
Oh,
We
I
can do
love
it.
that. I love that.
And the you were speaking about ayahuasca and cacao. A lot of for my personal like healing path journey process, those medicines have showed up in such a big way to support my reclamation of my inheritance that maybe my living ancestors don't have a knowing of, but resides within my DNA and my ancestors. Like I have an ancestor altar. I've supported my ancestors in ceremony to transition so they're not stuck and wreaking havoc because, not to throw shade at some of my grandparents, but they've done some stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm aware that their actions came from a place of the trauma they experienced and that got passed on and, so on and so forth. But because I felt very much like it was like a stand of like, no more. Like I was like Gandalf at the bridge, like you shall not pass. Natalie's version of that with my own shillelagh. And when I would sit in medicine ceremonies, because the first time I sat in ayahuasca, I had never sat with a psychedelic. I had no concept, like nothing at all. And I felt very clear in my being that I did not want anyone to imprint their projections, ideas, their experiences into my experience. So I'd have I was going to be sitting in my first ceremony. It was an all women's ceremony during a full moon, and I was living in this house with this like really well known like in the psychedelic community like the landlord. He's like, or he has since passed. He was just like well known in all psychedelic community and like just like a. Mm-hmm. He'd been around like when Burning Man was on Baker Beach, like and wow. Connected, you know, like yeah, and man. He had never sat with that medicine, and he wanted to. I remember him giving me a book. I could see the title. I could see the cover. Remember the title? Something about a serpent, cosmic serpent, maybe. He gave me a book. He's like, read this book, and I was like, I don't want any. Like, I need to go on this like a blank slate. I need to have this experience with no one else's energy in it. And I remember the prayer that I always held when I sat in plant medicine ceremonies was healing my ancestral lineage. Like I wanted to heal the traumas, the blocks, like all those things in my ancestral lineages. And let me tell you, that happened. It was not kind and gentle all the time, but it was necessary because it woke me up, and it woke up those, I would say, like dormant gems within the DNA. Of like remembering and deep remembering, and I would see things and I experience. I remember one ceremony was so hard, and feeling my grandparents' hands on my shoulders as I'm like grieving. There was so much grief in so many ceremonies, like just always so much releasing and purging, and it was needed, and I knew it was needed, and I knew no one else was willing to do it this way. And I was okay with that. I was not like, oh, give me a pat on the shoulder. I didn't care about that. I just felt like this is what needs to be done, and it needs to be done now.
Excellent.
And it was like you just do it. Like you just go and do it.
I could see why, and we'll get to like how your connection with Contemplate and Live, but I can see why you consider emotion code, trapping of those emotions. That's what it felt like when you were talking. Trapped.
Yeah.
Trapped. Yeah. I can see why you went that way, that route.
Yeah.
And it does help.
Because I knew energy healing. I was practicing Reiki.
Right.
Even when I was in grad school, I would work on clients, like take my massage table in a Uber and go to some person, do some Reiki sessions, and they were powerful and they were great. But it just, when emotion came around, I was like, oh, this is like a very particular, like you zoom into something.
Yeah.
It's not just like this, like, and I love Reiki. I love energy healing practices that are like Reiki. Yeah. Those are great. They have their purpose and they're important. And there's also something about zooming into like, okay, because if I'm working with you consciously, because this is for my path, right? What helped me is looking at my subconscious stories, looking at the blocks, looking at the wounding, and like consciously with like Gestalt therapy, that's just the one that felt resonant for me. Using those skills to like almost like decode and reconstruct the way that I was through my perspective, seeing the world and seeing myself. Like it was kind of both, like inner and outer, right? That was really helpful. And also there was sometimes energy that was trapped. Like I would have an experience and I'd have an emotional reaction, a trigger that would happen, and my reaction to that just didn't make sense for just that experience. Like it was too big of a reaction. And so then I started getting curious, like, what the heck is going on here? Like, why is like I'm not a canon. Like what is happening here? And I realized I'm like, oh, energetically, like if you're looking at the lens of energy, there is an experience that's triggering something within me that's connected to all these other experiences, not only in my life, but my ancestral lineage and past lives that I've experienced. So my reaction is not just to this one event that's happening. It's a reaction to all of those things.
Yeah.
And so can I look at it at the energetic level and clear whatever's there? So it kind of gives it a bit more expansiveness. And then using the tools of psychology, go in to see like, okay, well, what is the wound here? Like, how can I rewrite the subconscious story? What is the program that's operating for my system that needs to be rewritten because it has malware and needs like an update? Like, if we want to look at it that way, like, okay, if I'm I mean, I don't think we're operating systems, but in some sense, we kind of are. We have an operating system, the program that we exist in. And so if we could look at it in that lens of like, okay, so I am not a victim of things. I am a creator. Knowing that like divinity, like Catholic school doesn't teach you this, but divinity exists within all of us, you know? And so we're creators, we're divine creators. Every single one of us, that's like our inherent right that we have to be creators. Then what are we creating consciously and what are we creating unconsciously? And is there any infiltration of energies in the way that like, let's clear that out. Like, let's clear the cookies or the cache. I'm thinking because of what we're getting on the call. Let's clear those things. That can be done quite simply, right? And now let's look at the root of it. Before you were talking about like the Western medical system, they just want to do the symptoms. No, let's go to the root and see what is perhaps out of resonance in the root. How can those things be out of resonance with life? Because not for nothing, every single ancestral lineages has been infiltrated some way, somehow on this earth. No one living has bypassed this thing. Some way, somehow, everyone has discordance in their ancestral lineage. And it is, I feel, the responsibility of those who are aware of this to create change and rewrite those things.
Yep.
And we don't have to do it alone. That's one thing. That's why I love working with Liv, because then we work with community of like, okay, how can we do this in community? How can we do this with the backing, the support of the other world and the spiritual dimensions that know this? How can we work with the earth in a way that is supportive to this beautiful mother that we get to exist on?
Excellent.
Yes.
And that's why we actually reached out to Liv, because of the concept of community and working with people I just want to pause there and make a note. You said something very important there. I want to give some useless statistics, because I normally give useless statistics on this show. There are over 8 billion people on this earth. And the number of possible clients for practitioners is 8 billion. And so there really is not any need for any jealousy or competition between practitioners, because there's not enough of y'all out there that could possibly service the population that you are in. Okay? So I am just going to say,
yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to say there's not enough of y'all to service the population. So, like, when we do outreach as an example, and we're having, like, as an example in my area, I'm going to do a cacao ceremony on the 28th. And we reach out to practitioners, like, promote yourselves, right? This is an open forum, because it is in community we can actually stem the tide. When I was in this meditation system years ago, when I was really, really young, they had this notion that if 1% started to move the tide of negativity, it would become so much easier. It would just disappear, right? They had this notion. The problem is getting that 1% to cooperate with each other. And so, yeah, I just want to make a note here with regard to the community, because it really doesn't matter what you do, whether it's emotional code, whether you're doing Reiki, whether you're doing whatever the case may be. If you're sincere, your sincere outlook is that you want a healthier and better society, a better world, and so on, then you should be in community with other people with like minds.
Yeah. And Zoom has made it so much easier to connect with people.
Yes, the technomancy of the new age.
I know. So we can reach more people, just like our show.
I also want to add this too, like, I know I'm not for everyone, and I'm okay with that. Like, younger Natalie would have not been okay with that.
Yes.
Well, Natalie, you do have a lot of flavors in there. You're the entire spice pot, right? And when I say spicy, you weren't kidding, were you? Like, that's a lot of spice you got in there.
Yeah.
And like, I feel it's like if there was one thing I wish for people to like access more is like your discernment. Like check
Yes.
in with yourself. Like,
Yeah.
does this feel good for me? Like, do I feel expansive? Do I feel contracted? Like, do I feel when I'm in this person's presence, do I feel expanded or do I feel contracted? But then the next step is not to judge because like that's going against like it's just not gonna help you judging. Because that's what people do is like, oh, I don't really resonate with her. Like, oh, I don't like her. I don't like her.
What does that mean,
the way she
Natalie?
talks to her. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay if you don't resonate with people. It doesn't mean that they're bad.
When we first started doing this show, we tried to examine those terms because resonance, from just a physics point of view, requires you to vibrate at the same frequency as someone else.
Yeah.
And we've already debunked this construct because people change vibration by the second.
Yes.
So when you say you don't resonate with someone, what you mean is, I don't resonate with that person now.
Yeah.
Right, at this moment. Yeah. Correct. Because you can later on down the road, right?
Yes.
Because let's face it, look at this panel here. We have the black guy who's part Carib from the Caribbean resonating with the Irish Italian. That's another whole. That's another whole story right there.
I've been working on that.
Resonating with the Indian Colombian. Like we have the entire, and we are good in the hood. We are very, very good. And so when people say this thing, oh, I don't resonate with this. I don't resonate with that. You actually need to actually examine the thing that you don't resonate with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because look, whenever you buy any kind of device, whether it be a Bluetooth speaker or whatever else, it has a label on it that says, this speaker complies with FCC blah, blah, blah. It may not cause interference to something else, right? But must accept interference from other things. Why can't we all be like the speaker?
I know.
Why can't we all be like the Bluetooth speaker?
That's a good metaphor.
That's a good metaphor.
And also, like, let's add another layer to it. Which part of you is being triggered by my presence?
There we go.
Yes, all of ours.
There's
all three of us.
You know what I mean?
Like, I have this image that people are walking around.
To be curious about.
Yes.
In a perfect world, when people are resonating with each other, we'd all be walking around with tuning forks and ping. Right? Right. Let me hear your tone. Oh, it's we're resonating. Yes.
Yes.
Sit down and we should totally have a discussion. No, that's not how it works, guys.
No.
Come on.
That's funny.
Actually, what you were saying about resonance and how everyone's changing every moment, it actually reminds me of something that my supervisor and the director of the clinic that I worked at, his name's Give. Give, I love you. You're awesome. Thank you for being alive. Give transformed the way that I understood boundaries. Because boundaries, I used to always understand them. Like the image that would come to mind was like a moat. I'm in the castle. There's a moat. There's like sharks in the moat. Like you ain't getting in here. That's how I imagined boundaries, right?
Yeah.
It was I'm born in the East Coast. Like we're rough. Like people are rough here.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Sarcasm, like, you know what I'm saying? Like passive aggressiveness, like all those things.
Agree, sister.
Apart. And he transformed the way because and then, with all of that, right? That's the background I was coming from, understanding boundaries, that it has to be a fight. Yeah. And the way he said this, I remember we were sitting in the clinic, it was all the clinicians together. He said, boundaries are where you choose to meet the world. So sit with that for a second. I can choose in this moment to meet the world this far away. But in the next moment, I can choose to meet it this far away. And that is my right. I get to choose. I get to tune into my being and see, where am I at in this moment? Do I want to be around a lot of people and expend energy and all those things? I can choose that. And then in the next moment, I could choose like, oh, I'm kind of overwhelmed in this moment. I think I need to go find a dark corner, or perhaps like a dog that I can go pet. This is like actual live thoughts of Natalie in some social situations. Like, I need to go, and I don't have to feel bad about that, because in the past I would feel bad about it, like, oh, I'm not being sociable, I'm not being, whatever those subconscious stories that we've been programmed into, like, you're supposed to be this, you're supposed to be that, like, whatever. Boundaries are where I choose to meet the world. And that's okay. I don't have to make excuse for that.
Right.
And that's why we like you, Natalie, because you're unscripted.
You're unscripted. You're unscripted. And I just saw, like, you don't want to cement your boundaries. I think we grew up, we cemented our boundaries. Yeah. No. We can move the goalpost. We can.
You want to know the folly of cementing boundaries are?
Yes.
I'll give you an example.
Tell us.
I'll give you an example. Let's go with the simple boundary fallacy. I have boundaries. Like, not every man can slide into my DMs. Talking from a woman's perspective, I'm sorry. You guys can jump on me afterwards. However, if that man happens to be handsome, I don't know whether he's an axe murderer or not, then my boundaries might be a little bit, easy. On the right. So I as an example, on the men's side, I only date women who are of a certain standard.
Yeah.
But then when the woman rolls up to him and the cleavage is showing, my boundaries are a little bit lax tonight. And, knock back a few shots and everything is fine. This is the kind of thing that we're talking about. When you're trying to cement boundaries and so on, boundaries should be determinant on how you feel in the moment and whether you want to remove yourself, as Natalie said, or create a perspective shift. And a lot of people tend to say, I have boundaries. Okay?
Yeah.
And usually they say it with their chest up in the air. Look, I have boundaries. Okay?
Yes.
If they were solid boundaries, you wouldn't need to shout.
Yeah.
Right.
You wouldn't be saying it. That's true. That's true, actually. Because that's a reflection I get back. I oftentimes, like, Amy, you've seen this, like, in groups and ceremonies and stuff, like, people will reflect that back to me, like, you have very clear boundaries. But I don't go around saying
no. Correct.
Until this moment, I'd never realized that is true.
That's correct.
Hi, David. I have boundaries.
I know. I know.
That'd be really funny. Hi, my name is Natalie. I have boundaries.
Boundaries. That's our tagline. I have boundaries. Oh,
like,
I like
like another layer of that too. Like, just an example you're giving, David, is like, what part of you is setting those boundaries?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Is it like an insecure part of you that's like
from fear and insecurity, more than often, the need to try to protect the self from a perceived harm. And here's the thing that really is very, very funny about these things is when people say, well, you know what? I've got my boundaries and so on, right? And then it's like that passage in the Bible where Christ is in the desert and the devil is like, you got your boundaries? Look at these cities out here. All of them could be yours.
Well, I have my boundaries. I have to say that as a child, though, boundaries, I'm kind of glad I had protective boundaries.
Oh yeah, I mean,
as a child,
you do need to if you're operating in a female body in some places, you do actually have to know how to have physical boundaries. Yeah,
but
reasons.
Go ahead, Amy.
For safety. Well, I'm just saying, just for like you said, safety reasons. I'm kind of glad I didn't know that I had them, but I'm glad that I had them up. Obviously, Spirit had helped me with that, right?
Okay, let me tell you a funny story about Amy and myself.
Oh boy, what's
the story? So Amy has a boundaries, right? Amy doesn't like. So Amy refused to talk to me for years.
Oh, I did.
All right.
I was scared of you.
No, you got your little boundaries, right? Right. And so then she makes the mistake of saying it on a webinar that I was hosting. And I'm like, oh, well, I am just going to start talking to you more now.
You broke them. You actually smashed them to pieces.
Right. I'm just going to start
Because some
talking
boundaries are
keyboard
meant
now.
to be smashed.
All right. And so boundaries, when you look at them, they're meant to keep people out, but sometimes they keep you in.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. I do
Sometimes
agree.
you prison yourself in the boundaries of your limitation. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, I really appreciate that, like that perspective of boundaries can be ever changing. Because another teacher that I learned from a professor, Eduardo Duran, he wrote the book, oh my goodness, what is it called? Healing the Soul Wound.
Yes.
And so it's a great book, like definitely recommended. I took a weekend workshop with him, and he brought the perspective of the way that we use language, like the English language, is very like, how do you say it? Like a box, like I'm a woman, the thing. But in a lot of indigenous languages, they don't have nouns. So like a translation would be like womaning is happening, right? So then when you're looking at things from the psychological perspective, and he works a lot with like addictions, people have drug use, alcohol use, all those things. And so the way that he was working with his clients, instead of saying like, oh, you're an addict, because when we identify as a thing, then you're stuck. You're in this thing, so your ego attaches to that. He would say, oh, you're out of, what's the word? You're not in the right relation, or you're out of, the relationship with alcohol is out of balance. Or the relationship with the spirit of alcohol is out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives a little bit more, like, you can feel it in your body. Like, think of it when you're looking like, I'm a thing versus my relationship with this thing is out of balance. There's a little bit more movement.
That is extremely interesting.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you say you're a thing, everything else that you may be gets sort of falls off.
Exactly. So
and
true.
So you're cutting off parts of yourself.
Yes. That's why you bring the aspect
I would start having this. Yes, exactly. I would have this experience when I'd go into like conversation or podcast, right, and be like, introduce yourself or whatever, and I would be like, I'm a multidimensional being. That's how I had to like to stay in integrity with what my words are, and to also not lock myself up into a category. I found I'm like, okay, because I'm spicy. Like, how am I gonna find the way that both things can exist? Well, the truth is, I am a multidimensional being. I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm all of it. And there's some things that don't know yet, because I haven't met that part of me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
and like how,
Yeah, because you can't mix the coriander,
with basil.
With the basil.
I mean, you could.
You could, right? I get
Very
it.
interesting pesto you can make with that.
You could.
Right. You can imagine. Putting a little bit of salt in the cacao and putting some coriander and some cumin in there. Okay, my point. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to try that.
Hungry?
That sounds good,
really
David.
Good. There's actually I know of Cacao Lab. It's a company of brother and sister, Florencia, and I can't remember her brother's name. They do have a cacao mix that has coriander in it, and I'm trying to remember what the other. I think it's their water cacao. Like they have these different mixes. Of
you're inspiring me, right? As soon as this
it's really good.
is over,
oh, that sounds.
I'm going experimenting. I'm getting my testing out.
I support this because I just love coriander. So
yeah,
cilantro is my BFF.
So let's do. We've been on here. That's okay though, right? We're still going.
This is a good conversation, actually.
Yeah. Wow. I know. I'm enjoying this. Might have to have you.
No idea how long we've been.
I know. We are in another world.
Yeah.
What?
We are in the cosmos.
We are right now. But I was just thinking as you were talking about the boundaries and the spirit, and your name is the Tending Your Spirit is perfect, and Universal Citizen Media is perfect. There's no boundaries there. Mm-hmm. Did you even realize that, David?
I mean, there is. Boundaries are important. Boundaries exist.
Yes.
Like, let's not. It's not that boundaries aren't there. They're just not imprisoning anyone.
Yeah.
Because they're acting the way that they're meant to, but coming from a place of like, I'm a sovereign being, and in this moment, I can choose where I want to meet the world.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
And
a
I
swinging
have
door.
boundaries. Not like boundaries are important, even when you're meeting with someone to have boundaries. But it's like, it's not like it's not subtracting you from the equation.
No.
And all of you. It's not subtracting all of you from the equation.
Yeah. They're just not cemented in, like we said.
Exactly. It's not stuck. It allows for you to stay in integrity with yourself.
I remember
going back to that example that David gave of like the person who's like, oh, I don't let men slide into my DMs, but if he's cute, okay, I might
let him
what's happening here.
I might slide a little bit. It's only going to be an hour.
There's going to be another one. That's right.
I slipped in a little bit. There's some water on the floor. No, but that person then is in conflict with themselves internally because they've said this statement of like, and then they've gone out of integrity with themselves. So now there's an internal conflict that's occurring, whether or not they're aware of it, but it's going to show up eventually.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you just added a whole bunch of more work to yourself if you're even curious about healing that.
I was having this argument I was having this argument on boundaries with one of the more masculine types, right? He says, you got to stand for something or fall for everything.
Okay.
And I said to him, no, that's not how it works. It is your internal integrity that makes a difference. Right? And he said, and he goes like, oh, so like, let's say I was a Christian as an example, not necessarily Catholic. Let's just call it Christian, right? And somebody puts a gun to your head. This is the test. We're doing a philosophical test, and says, renounce God or I'll blow your head off. Okay? Would you renounce God? Would you stand by your belief systems and claim that it or whatever else, just this hard and fast thing? And I said, I would probably say I renounce God, but not in my heart, and then I would probably repent afterwards. Any more questions? All right.
It's funny. Give me that scenario. Give me that scenario. I like this question. I want to play.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Natalie.
Okay. But give it to me like you're saying it for the first time.
Okay. You're a Christian. You have a belief system. Okay. It may be that you believe in the curry and you believe in the cacao ceremony, and somebody says to you, yo, this Natalie chick, we're going to put her to the test. Runs up to you, puts a gun to your head. It is a real gun. It is loaded. Right? I don't want you to feel this in your system. I just want you to just take the hypothetical.
No, I'm good.
I says, okay, I am going to blow your head off unless you renounce the cacao. All that spiciness, no more spice for you. Lettuce.
Lettuce.
You are eating lettuce for the rest of your life. And watercress. On Christmas you can have some watercress.
With no flavor.
Right. Right, but generally it's lettuce, and if we're feeling particularly generous, we might have you eat a cucumber, no skin on the cucumber. We're just dealing with.
No
right,
salt.
but you're definitely not getting no watermelon or anything like that. Forget that. So,
oh no! What are you gonna do now?
Somebody holds a gun to your head, and you have to stand by your belief system or not, or be executed. What is your solution to this, Natalie?
Wait. So first, I remember Natalie doesn't play by the rules. So you just gave me two options, and that's neither one of those. Because when you were giving that scenario, my response was, "Who hurt you?"
Exactly my point. A lot of the world believe in this kinds of constructs when it comes to boundaries and standing by them, and standing by this and this kind of. Yeah, I will die for my boundaries. Unless, of course, if a cute guy messages me. Oh, gosh.
that was like, you could have given me any of those examples. Literally, what I felt in my body was, who hurt you?
Exactly.
With that gun.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Do you need a hug?
Yeah. Can you imagine? Natalie, you're hilarious. There's a man with a gun to your head. Who hurt you? Do you need a hug?
Seriously. What is
And then the
happening?
guy's like, no, I don't need a hug. Oh, yeah, that's my question.
Because, like, not for nothing, like, none of those things actually matter. In the bigger scheme, if we're gonna, like, let's, like, zoom out real quick.
Yeah.
Like, any of those stances, any of those things in the bigger picture don't actually matter. But what feels important, if you're going to use this, like, energy that you're choosing to, whether you're aware of it or not, to impose your beliefs on another person with this, like, dominance, who hurt you? Who hurt you to make you believe that it is okay to oppress another, that is okay to tell someone how they should be, that it's your right to tell someone how they should exist, and not only that, to also cause harm? Who hurt you?
Yes.
Who hurt you? And you remember that you're loved?
And these are the things that I am telling you, that generally when people look at the history, like your history as an example, a lot of your ancestors were given that choice.
Yeah.
One way or another, they were given that choice. And mine and Amy's and so on were given a choice, which it goes back to your point of ancestral trauma.
Yeah.
And I'm going to round it up because, honestly speaking, as I said before, there are not enough counselors in this world.
I know.
To redress all of that.
And Natalie, I just wanted to say how you just beautifully scaled that down. You took it from violence to this or that, yes or no, to, like, everyday life. That happens in everyday life. That question. Not with the gun or not with that. It is like, what the questions that you ask people, ask that to yourself.
Yeah.
You know? Wow.
Yeah, because listen, like, we're living in a world right now where there's so much polarity and so much pull and so much, like, this or that, and, like, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, I'm like, wait, but who benefits from us to be entangled in these right or wrong, good or bad, left or right? Like, who's and it may not be human, not for nothing. It may not be human that's benefiting from that consistent conflict within oneself with another. Like, there are energies that exist that feed off of that. That's their mana, that's their life force, that's their food. And so, of course, like, it would be a good idea to consistently plant these divisive things to continue to wrap up humanity in this discordance.
Natalie, on a material level, it's also a really good business model for a lot of social media companies.
Absolutely. Like, capitalism is that's the bread and butter of capitalism.
Yeah.
That's the bread and butter of the elite to continue to be rich and rich and rich and rich. And the poor to continue to be, like, that is the formula that is used. No, wake up, man. Like, what are we doing? There's like prove it. Like, just look at the pattern. What are we doing?
I think we've lost the critical thinking.
Yes.
We lost a lot of things.
Yeah. I was just thinking that when you were saying that. It's like, where's the critical thinking in this? Let's talk it out.
But when people are in their wounding and are unaware that they're in their wounding, that frontal lobe is off.
Yeah.
Like, what's a computer term? Like, system not computing, or system disconnect.
System error.
No Wi-Fi connection.
Yeah, no Wi-Fi. Oh my God.
And also, if your critical thinking is based off of perspective or a system that has educated you to think only in this way,
in binary,
and you're gonna have a bias that you may not be aware of. And then like, they'll be like, oh, I'm a critical thinker. Yeah, your critical thinking is based off of bias.
Yeah.
So you're actually can't fully critically think because you're not willing to see what are the blind spots within my way of seeing the world, because our perspective is our reality.
Yeah.
And also we have a lot of blind spots. If you're not willing to like actually go inside and see where am I operating from that could actually be not quite right.
This is why I also tend to look at the usefulness of certain therapies, and I'll explain to you why. Utilizing the statement you just made, I remember back in the days of Windows 7, before Windows 95, and those days, computer code was based on binary zeros and ones.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was a computer programmer. I remember those sheets, the zeros and the
Yes,
ones.
it's zeros and ones. Now we have adapted a new interface. If the computer is upgrading, you're telling me that the computer's up. Listen, you're telling me that your computer's operating system is more developed than you. Listen, this is
It's
a
so good.
problem. If you're
Yes.
not updating yourself, your computer is receiving updates every day. Oh, look, click, let me update the computer. And then
What
the
if
universe sends you an update, and it's like, yeah, nah, I don't really need that update right there. Right? It's like, oh my God,
Oh, that's
what's going on?
it's a
Yeah,
good
that's so true.
metaphor. Good metaphor
That's
for
so
looking
true.
inside and
Right?
perspective. I
But
love
I
that.
think a lot of people, to your point, they tend to look at things in a sort of binary either or construct. And when you look at that and you look at the harm that it causes nowadays it causes harm. I mean, it used to be that we weren't as much of a global village as we are now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so social media has made it so everybody's in the same place
Mm-hmm.
all the
The
time.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, we have a saying where I come from in my culture: come see me and come live with me are two different things. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. These are two different things. So we're living real close with each other now. And we have something called clashes, right? Where binary people are meeting people for the first time who do not see things in the same way.
Yeah.
And look, there was always this thing that if two humans are in a room together, it's a little riddle that we had when I went to school, when I did philosophy. If two humans are in a room together, one must be wrong and one must be right. The philosophical problem. And here is the thing. It doesn't occur to them that they could be simultaneously both wrong and right at the same time.
That's true.
And it's hilarious to watch this, and it's being played out on a mass scale. And
Yeah.
what we're having is a sort of comeuppance, a sort of reckoning of all the traumas that have been
Yeah.
developed over time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Mhm.
I have a joke for you. An Irish Italian woman, a black Caribbean guy, mixed of Carib, walks into a bar with an Indian Colombian. That's the joke. You just have to stop right there.
You just have to I love that.
Because here's the thing. We need to find a commonality, don't we?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What is the commonality between yourself? Because clearly it can't be gender. Just saying. Right?
I think
Clearly
it's
it can't be race. Just saying.
David, I think I have an answer. It's laughter.
Yeah. Well, there's laughter.
Laughter.
Because that's all of that is funny, right?
All of-
Seriously. Imagine the three of us at a bar with each other. Like, why are we still speaking? Like, you come from like and here is the thing that people don't get. We are now constructed because of past traumas to look at the differences as opposed to common denominator.
Yeah.
We're all, I can't even say that we're all human because we don't know. You might be a lizard person, Amy. I don't know.
I don't
Somebody
know.
skin is white. All that stupid stuff. We have
Yeah.
laughter, and we have just made a decision to be chill, and that's all that was required.
I think that openness, like I feel, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the three of us are open to different perspectives.
Yes. Agreed.
Because I find that when I'm in space with people who are open to different perspectives, then like spirit has space in the room. Because yes, there's the physical three of us, but like I'm hot, and I know it's not just because it's hot. I know spirit's been speaking a lot today.
Yes, that's
And like has a seat at the table.
yes.
And whether in whatever ways that, whoever's listening, like whatever ways that translate for you, whether it's God or goddess or ancestors or the unseen, the benevolent beings that are in alignment for the highest good for all of life, have room here.
Yep.
Because we didn't talk about this beforehand, but I bet you that is what resonates for the two of you. Because I know that for me, the benevolent beings that are in alignment with the highest good for all organic life have room in my space. They have room in my healing practice.
Yep.
They have room in my life.
Yes.
Because I have seen and experienced way too many things in my life to be ignorant that that's not an important aspect of what's happening here on Earth.
Yeah.
Because like we can get stuck in the mess of like this and that and that and that. There is a spiritual battle that has been going on for a very, very long time. What part are you playing in it? Are you going to continue to give your sovereignty away to the malevolent beings that like to feed off of your life force energy? Or are you going to reclaim your divine inheritance and start accessing the power within you to create a better world? Like, I didn't need healers to tell me that I'm an old soul. I know I'm an old soul because I am tired of this bullshit. This discordance that has been going on for far too long. I'm ready for Mama Gaia to reclaim her sovereign. And I get chills just saying this.
Yeah, me too.
Like her divinity, the promise that was always hers to be the land of paradise for all life, to exist in harmony. All life to exist in harmony. That is what this planet, this beloved mother, was always meant to be. And all those hooligans who came in to show us what it wasn't supposed to be, your time is up. The light has been shunned. Get your ass out of here. Remember that you're loved too, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, a little East Coast Natalie came in.
Yes. Mic drop, Natalie.
But to those discordant energies, those beings, those factions, those lost souls, remember that you're loved too. Whatever happened, whoever hurt you, remember that God, Goddess, Creator, Source loves you too. No matter what you've done, you are also loved. Come back to yourself. Come home. It's time.
Yeah.
We're done with this bullshit. I'm sorry.
Done.
I really tried not cursing this whole time. But
no, that's we like it. We like it, Natalie.
Let it out, man. Let it out.
Well, that's a beautiful ending.
Mama and all the grandmothers have called you to a reckoning to return to your heart.
Yes.
It is time. Don't make us get the chanclas out and give you a chancletazo. This is not a chancla. This would actually hurt. But it, like, this, whatever this is not what it was meant to be. So it's time for the ones who are afraid of shining their light, the ones who are lost, the ones who don't feel like they have a voice, come together. There's whether you want to join us for Daughters of the Milky Way and join that community, or go with David in the cacao ceremony and join that community. There's countless communities of people who have awakened to like the reality that we are love and that we are meant to create a beautiful world for all.
Excellent.
It is time.
Excellent. Yeah.
Wherever you are, you can exist anywhere in this world, and there are way showers and people who have been dedicating their life to healing, to create safe havens for others to come heal. Like, I know I don't have to cognitively, consciously know where they exist. I know in the depths of my soul that they exist, that there are places. And you might be the one who starts that place. And people will show up because it's like past the time of this, like it's been time for this shift to change, for this to happen. Because
wow,
and
wow, that's
put that
mouth drop, mic drop.
Nucleic.
Beautiful, Natalie. That's a beautiful ending.
Natalie, please give us your contact. Promote your Daughters of the Milky Way. You're going to be teaching on that, I believe. Please let us know what you're doing and what you're up to.
Yeah, I'm so excited about Daughters of the Milky Way. Liv and I were receiving visions and downloads from Spirit, and we thought what it was, like we thought it was just a training, and now at this point it's a movement, and very much like it's just a lot bigger than we were first visioning and receiving. And it's going to be a 9-month online journey starting in November till July of next year. We have live modules. We'll be doing live ceremonies online, Zoom, so you can connect from anywhere around the world. And we have this amazing constellation of teachers who have their expertise, whether it's the wisdom that they carry or embodiment practices, that are sharing their gems that will be available pre-recorded in the online portal that we have. And we have a community space where those guest teachers, the participants, future participants can all build together to create a better world. Like, really, it's the medicine of the cosmos, the waters. Like, the cosmic mother has been like the guiding light. The Candomblé, they're going to share their wisdom for the modules that we'll be going through. There's just so much. There's so much in this training. It's like Liv and I, the life's work, the things that we've gone through in our initiations and our trainings, we're sharing all of it in this space. Because it's time. It's just time.
I will be there.
Yes, Amy's going to be with us. We want to create it. Yeah, I'm like, what are even the words? Like, it's time for people to come together and create the world that we always known is our inherent right. We can't do it alone. We have to come together and work together, and we have to work with. It starts with healing the role, like healing your stuff, yourself.
Yeah.
Like, the first module we're going to go through is self-love, because self-love is inherent to how you show up in the world. Because if you don't love yourself, you're going to attract things into your world that are going to continue to perpetuate those stories that you have coming from that place of, I don't love myself.
Excellent.
Amen. And where can people reach that to look at?
Great question. So on earthsamulet.com, there's a link for priestess training. You can click on there, and then you can see the information about, and then you can apply there. Where applications are open till October 22nd, and then we start in November. We have a symposium, a free symposium this weekend, that if you go to earthsamulet.com and click on Priestess Training. Right below, you'll see on the menu, it says Symposium. It's a free gathering. This is August 23rd and September 14th are the dates that we're having the symposium. That is free to come. You just register, and you'll get the link to join us. And then you can find me, Tending Your Spirit, on Instagram. I have my website, tendingyourspirit.com. If you want to work with me, you can book sessions on heal.me/tending your spirit. You can find me there. And yeah, I have a YouTube channel that I have some stuff on, but I forget. But not that I forget, I just don't always put things in there.
Right.
Living life. So,
That's right.
There are some stuff there.
We have to live life. We can't forget that.
Tending your spirit, yeah. It's an interesting balance, right? It's like being in the world.
Yep.
And being in the world. And finding the balance of how to be in the world both ways.
I enjoyed our conversation, but there's one other fun question I want to ask you.
Oh, yes.
If your spiritual path had a soundtrack or a song or a sound, what would it be?
Oh, that's a mind twister, Amy.
What came first? What came first to your mind?
Okay.
What came first?
Ocean waves.
Ocean waves, a sound. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Okay. Sorry, it's changed a little bit.
Okay.
Ocean waves, but then it's like the ocean, but also when the magma comes, like the lava flows into the. If anyone asks me and I want to share because boundary. If anyone asks me where can one find my soul? It's the place where the lava meets the ocean.
Ooh.
That's where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Because I'm deeply, deeply connected to the ocean and deeply, deeply, deeply connected to volcanoes.
Beautiful. I have a question.
Yes.
I just want a recipe for cacao, man. I mean, all right, but we can explore that after.
No, I got a good one. Cacao with some cayenne pepper. And rose.
Oh.
Rose water, rose powder.
Maybe rose water, rose petals, rose powder.
Ooh.
Rose, cayenne pepper, and cacao.
Okay.
I'm on that too.
Yeah, that's happening tomorrow morning.
Yes, that's happening.
Because cayenne pepper, not to toot cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is amazing. On so many levels.
Yes, it does.
I love it.
It does bring out the flavor and things. It does.
It does.
And it also does what it does in your body. If you have any inflammation or anything happening, cayenne pepper contains the
capsicum.
Capsicum. That's in pain medication.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or if you actually have another one. If you want cacao with ginger, boil ginger in water, so it's ginger water, really ginger. Mm-hmm. Take the ginger out, put the cacao in there. It has to be decocted, right? It's not just that ginger needs to be in that water at a simmer for a hot minute. Mm-hmm. Let that ginger really be in that water. Make proper ginger tea, mm-hmm. The base of chai, mm-hmm. ginger. Mm-hmm. Do that with cacao, also excellent.
I can't wait.
Think you went into the wrong line.
I think I'm going to actually make that today.
I think you went into the wrong line of work. Now my mouth is watering. Listen. Guys, this has been a wonderful unscripted show. Yeah. And as you have seen, sometimes it is so much better to keep it unscripted.
Keep it unscripted, guys. And let's not forget, David. Let's tell them you can sign up to our community, UCM, Universal Citizen Media, at community.universalcitizentv.com. And David, what do you have coming up?
I have a cacao ceremony coming up on the 28th if you guys are around the Regina and surrounding areas. Otherwise, you guys can check out our online store for those of you who are entrepreneurs who are tired of getting exploited by, every software company on the planet. We have software, we have website builders, we have all sorts of AIs that will allow you to make your life easier at cheap, easy plans so that you don't end up spending your entire profit from whatever practice you have
Yes. Yes.
paying somebody who doesn't care about what you do.
I know.
If you want to get in touch with us, you could get in touch with us at info@onexxa.com. Please stop throwing money at people hoping to get some mythical result that never happens.
Right. Well, tell them the website shop.onexxa.com.
Shop.onexxa.com.
WONEXXA. That's it.
No,
Oh,
it's ONEXXA.
Oh, not.
Where did the W
Why
come
did I do W? Because I said one.
ONEXXA.
Oh my God. Because I said one.
One XXA. Okay. So anyway, as I was saying, we're doing shop.onexxa.com. Check it out. We have a lot of stuff inside there. A lot of stuff that is going to help you and your business prosper without having to spend your entire life savings and pledge your firstborn to some software company. So we'll see you guys inside the community. Otherwise, please check out the symposium which Natalie was speaking about. We know Liv, and she's not doing this because I just woke up and decided that I wanted to make $1 million. No. This is a real. Liv is a real one, and as you can see, you don't have to be a psychic to know that Natalie's a real one.
Yeah.
So please check out the symposium.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has. Guys, we'll see you in the next one.